Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here for yet another Civilization 6 First Impressions video because we've gotten the first look for Vietnam. So as we usually do, let's just go ahead, take a look at the video, give some first thoughts and impressions, maybe some analysis on how we think Vietnam is going to be when they release. And yeah, let's go ahead and just get right into things.
Ba Thu leads Vietnam in Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Ba Thu, also known as Lady True, is best remembered for her fiery personality and abject tenaciousness. She is once said to have proclaimed, "I'd like to ride storms, slay big whales in the open sea, drive out foreign aggressors, reconquer the country, undo the ties of serfdom, and never bend my back to be the concubine of whatever man."
So there we have it. Lady True is true. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. I could go back and listen to it a few times, but she is the leader of Vietnam, which some of you, if you were astute enough, you actually could have found that out from the first look video or the patch or whatever it's called, whatever the video was that they released on Tuesday where they announced the newest pack of the New Frontier Pass. There was 1 or 2 frames where before her leader portrait was blurred, so you could actually see her face. So people on the subreddit had found that and had seen that. So yeah, that's who the new leader is, which I think is pretty cool. It's not someone I've ever heard of, but then again, I really haven't heard of any Vietnamese leaders, so I don't really have too much of an opinion. But either way, the animations on her look pretty good. So let's go ahead and hear about what Vietnam can do.
Vietnam's unique ability is Nine Dragon River Delta. All land specialty districts can only be built on rainforest, marsh, or woods tiles. Buildings on each type of tile receive either additional science, production, or culture.
So there you have it. We get something about 9 dragons or whatever. I don't remember exactly the name of what this is. But either way, you can only put your districts on rainforest, marsh, and woods. And you do get extra yields on the buildings there. So you can kind of see from their cursor as they hovered over it. You get extra science on all the buildings from rainforest. You get extra production whenever you're on marsh. And you get extra culture whenever you are on woods. And I guess it's also kind of labeled here with these pins. So yeah, it looks like it's just one. I believe that we can see later on whenever they show the full leader screen, but either way, this is an interesting ability. This is going to make it so that there's a lot of spawn reliance whenever you're playing as Vietnam, because I can just imagine, like, what if you have, like, a +5 campus spot because there's a bunch of mountains, but there's no rainforest or anything to put it on, or no woods or anything? Then you're going to be kind of sad if that's the case. But in other cases, you know, it could be fine. And the extra science that you do get from all of the buildings also could be nice. It'll be interesting just to see how this is. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned, it's going to be very spawn reliant. And as someone who likes to re-roll a bunch, I can just see myself re-rolling even more whenever I am playing as Vietnam.
Sure. This ability also allows woods to be planted with the medieval fairs civic.
So that is another thing that kind of makes this, it kind of removes some of the bad stuff that I had just talked about, is that you're able to plant woods with medieval fairs, which is significantly earlier than conservation, in which you would normally get it. So that does kind of mend this a little bit, because it means that somewhere towards the middle of the game, you'll be able to, if you have a really good district spot that you don't have a feature on, then you can go plant woods and then put it on that tile anyways.
Vietnam's unique unit is the medieval-era ranged unit, the Voi Chien. Inspired by guerrilla tactics, this unit has additional movement and can even move after attacking. It is more expensive than the crossbowman unit it replaces, but is stronger when defending and has greater sight.
So you can see here, this is the Voi Chien, which is a replacement for the crossbowman. I want to go back to the point where they showed, where is this thing? So you can see it has 5 movement, so it replaces a crossbowman, which has 2, so that's more than double the movement of a crossbowman, which is pretty nice. I believe this is slightly lower range strength, but it also probably is just because they're attacking a city. Oh yeah, 40 base strength, so I'm pretty sure that's the same as a crossbowman. I might be wrong, though, so someone can fact check me in the comment section. And yeah, it gets extra movement, it can move after attacking, and also gets extra strength when defending. So this sounds like it's going to be a pretty strong medieval unit. The nice thing is, since it replaces the crossbowman, then you should be able to upgrade archers into these guys, which is going to make it so that you can use these really aggressively for like a mid-game power spike. You can play defensively with archers early on, and then you can just get to these guys, upgrade, and then you have a really nice unit that works both offensively and defensively. So I think this is going to be a very, very strong, unique unit.
When defending and has greater sight. Vietnam's unique district is called the Tien and offers additional culture for each adjacent district. Once flight is researched, This district generates tourism equal to its culture output. It does not require population and is cheaper to build than the encampment district.
So I think this is a very interesting, unique district just because it very much works with the other stuff that Vietnam does. So as I had mentioned, that unique unit I think is going to be very good, and I think that you can utilize that for a mid-game power spike. And this kind of works well with it as well because you can have the encampment down. I think the fact that this doesn't require a population to build is insanely good because it means you can put it down pretty much guilt-free because it's not going to take up another district slot, and you also get 2 culture from each adjacent district, which it honestly feels like you're going to be able to get more culture adjacency on this than you are on your theater squares when you're playing Vietnam, which I think is a little bit goofy. So I think this is going to be a very strong, unique district and one that I'm looking forward to using. The fact that it also gives tourism equal to the culture output at flight makes it even a little bit better.
It replaces. Ba Tu's unique ability, Drive Out the Aggressors,
All right, hang on. Let's actually go back here and take a look at this. We'll see what they have to say about Drive Out the Aggressors here, but I guess we can look at it right now. So we're going to get 5 combat strength for units fighting in rainforest, marsh, or woods tiles, plus 1 movement if they begin their turn there. And both of these bonuses are doubled if the tile is in your territory. So this is going to be a very insane defensive civ because getting 10 combat strength in rainforest, marsh, or woods is really, really good whenever you're defending. And you also get the 2 movement as well. So it's going to be very hard to attack someone like Vietnam if they are in an area that has a lot of woods or rainforest or marsh. So the 9 Dragon River Delta thing we had already pretty much talked about before. It's not really anything super exciting with this one, apart from what we already talked about, except this just kind of confirms that it is only 1 culture, 1 science, and 1 production for all of the buildings. So in the end, if assuming that you build all the buildings, you'll effectively get 3 of any of those yields. So unfortunately, we don't have that much information about the Voi Chien because it doesn't actually give any numbers. It just says they're stronger when defending, more expensive, and have greater sight. Doesn't actually say how much stronger, how much more expensive, or how much greater sight. So we'll have to wait and see what that is, but either way, still, I think that this is going to be a very good, unique unit. And then this thing, I don't think that there's really there's really not anything special with this. I guess the one thing that does suck is that since it is an encampment, you can't build it next to the city center because the city center counts as a district, so you would get the 2 culture from that. But still, it should be pretty easy to surround these things with districts to really get just a bunch of culture and then eventually tourism as well.
Provides additional combat strength for units fighting in rainforest, marsh, or woods tiles. This bonus is further increased for tiles owned by Vietnam. Beginning a turn in rainforest, marsh, or woods also provides additional movement, which is also further increased for tiles owned by Vietnam. Vietnam can be flexible in its path to victory, focusing on either science or culture, depending on the placement of districts.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I think is interesting. It's something that I think is very, very true, is that this is going to be a flexible civ. At first, I thought it was going to be like an all-out culture civ, but as I thought about it a little bit more, I really don't think that's the case, just because if you're going to leave rainforest and marsh around, that's going to lower the appeal on your tiles a lot, which is going to impact your ability to put down things that help you win culture victories like national parks or seaside resorts or things like that. Same thing with the encampments. You're going to want to be putting down a lot of their unique encampments, which also lowers the appeal of surrounding tiles. The thing there, though, is that at least that encampment does give you culture and eventually tourism, so that is good. And I think you still can play these guys as a culture civ. You just have to be a little bit more careful with which tiles you want to keep and which tiles you don't. The other nice thing is that you're able to plant those woods nice and early, so you can really get a head start on planting all the woods to raise your appeal of your tiles. I think you could also go domination with them, just because I feel like their unique unit's pretty good. They have combat strength bonuses, they get movement bonuses depending on the terrain, so depending on like the map type that you're playing on and what the terrain looks like, I feel like you definitely could go domination on these guys as well, or even science, because they do effectively get some extra science and production from their districts that are settled on some of these features. So I think, yeah, this is really a very versatile civ. I would say the only victory types you don't go for are probably religion or diplomacy, but even so, you probably could if you really wanted on either of those. But yeah, I think that I very much like how versatile this civ is as a whole.
Either way, construct buildings as quickly as possible to leverage their extra yields. Avoid desert, but don't be afraid to settle in open plains or grassland, as Vietnam can plant woods early.
Yeah, so see, this is one of those things I was talking about, that this could be one of the big drawbacks, is that if you end up with a spawn like this, then you're going to be out of luck unless you're later on in the game. Like, if this is your starting spawn, you're going to have a pretty sad time as Vietnam. I would assume that they have a spawn bias to kind of help prevent stuff like this, but imagine spawning here where you have virtually no woods, no rainforest, and no marsh. Then you would have a really hard time getting your districts down, and this Civ would kind of suck if this was what your spawn looked like. But later on in the game, once you're able to plant woods, at least that helps mitigate the issue a little bit.
Can plant woods early. However, rainforests can't be planted, so think carefully before chopping them. Woods, rainforest, and marsh tiles owned by Vietnam offer the Civ significant tactical benefits, turning Vietnam into a defensive powerhouse. Of course, if you choose your battles strategically, these tiles also allow Vietnam to render some crippling offensive attacks. For these reasons, watch out for forest fires and volcanoes, which can be especially devastating for this civilization.
Yeah, that is another thing. Some of the natural disasters could be really bad. Like, imagine if you get a volcanic eruption that gets rid of your woods and rainforest tiles, then you're gonna be feeling a little bit sad, especially if you had districts on those tiles. Which I wonder how that works. I don't know. I guess. I'm trying to think in my head. It looks like it keeps the rainforest here whenever you have the district there, because you can see all the trees and stuff. But I'm trying to think if that's just what a campus normally looks like. Oh, hang on. Actually, wait. Yeah, look. So it does say burning rainforest. So it looks like it does keep the rainforest there, which means I wonder what happens if the rainforest gets destroyed by a volcano. Does it get rid of the district? I don't know. That'll be interesting to see how that interacts, because that could be very, very bad if that is the case. I would imagine that's probably not the case, but you never really know. I mean, I guess in this case, it's technically not a rainforest anymore. It's a burning rainforest, but it's still a rainforest in the end, so I don't know. I'm just kind of theorizing about what this could be, but that'll be interesting to see how that works. And yeah, I think that natural disasters definitely will have a bit of a harsher time on Vietnam than, some of the other civs because of this reason.
Will you ride storms, slay big whales, and reconquer the country? How will you lead Vietnam in Sid Meier's Civilization 6?
All right, so that is Vietnam. Hope you guys enjoyed some of that. As far as my overall impressions, I think that this is going to be a good Civ. I don't think it's quite as insane as some of the other Civs that were added in the New Frontier Pass, but I would say that Vietnam's probably going to be a solid like A or B tier Civ. I don't think they're quite S tier just because, they have a lot of bonuses to a lot of different victory types, but they're kind of spread out. They don't have any really insane bonuses for a particular victory type, and they are kind of spawn reliant, as I had mentioned, because of the fact that they need woods and rainforest and marsh. So for those reasons, I think that, just that little bit of variability is going to weaken them as a whole, but I think that they are still going to be a very good Civ, and as I mentioned, probably I'm going to estimate they're going to probably be A tier, but we'll just have to wait and see until they come out before we can decide for sure. So thank you everyone for watching. I've been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.